For 15 years, my grandmother concealed the truth about my mother's survival, convincing me she had perished in a tragic accident. I was only 8 when my father sat me down, his voice heavy, and told me Mom had died in a car crash. He showed me a faded newspaper article, a memorial service pamphlet, and every Mother's Day, he drove me to her gravestone. Grandmother would clutch my hand at the cemetery, her eyes glistening as she laid roses on the marker. "She adored you beyond measure," she'd murmur. "She'd want you to be brave." For 15 years, I believed the lie. I mourned her. I whispered to her photograph before bed each night. When I turned 18, I inherited her jewelry, a collection of keepsakes grandmother had preserved for me. The deception unraveled by chance last month while I was sorting through grandmother's attic after she moved to a care facility. Tucked behind old holiday decorations, I found a shoebox filled with letters. The return address stopped my heart, Mom's full name and a location in Oregon. The postmark was recent, only weeks old. My mother, supposedly dead, had been sending letters. With shaking hands, I opened the latest one. "Dear Mom, I know you'll never reply, but I can't stop trying. Lily turns 23 soon. Does she still love painting? Does she recall the bedtime tales I shared? I've sent her countless letters, but you return them unopened. Please just tell me she's safe and happy. She's in my thoughts every day." I sat on the attic's dusty floor, reading 15 years of unopened letters, birthday cards, holiday gifts, school pictures she'd somehow acquired, and an invitation to a wedding that never happened because she believed I despised her. Each letter pleaded for grandmother to let her see me, growing more desperate over time. The final letter was the most heart-wrenching. "I'm marrying a kind man who knows my past. We want a family, but I can't move forward without knowing if Lily is well. This is my last letter. If you don't answer, I'll assume she wants no contact and I'll stop reaching out." At the bottom was a heavy envelope. Inside were copies of every letter I'd never seen. Birthday wishes, graduation notes, care packages for college, all sent back by grandmother. I drove to the care facility immediately. Grandmother was tending her garden as if she hadn't shattered my world. "Why?" I demanded, dropping the shoebox at her feet. Her face paled. For a moment, she seemed like the fragile elderly woman she was, not the deceiver I'd uncovered. "She abandoned you," grandmother said softly. "She chose addiction over her child. These letters don't sound like an addict." Her expression hardened. "You don't know the pain she caused us." "Then tell me." She was silent for so long I thought she'd refuse. At last she spoke, her voice a whisper. "Your father was unfaithful. Your mother found out and threatened to take you away." The words hit like a slap. "So you made me believe she was dead? We convinced her you were better off without her." I stared at the woman who'd raised me, who'd soothed my fears, who'd helped me lay flowers on a false grave. "Where is she?" "Portland." But I was already leaving. That night I booked a flight to Oregon, tracking her address from the letters. For the first time in 15 years, I'd see my mother. But what I found there upended everything I knew about my family. The address led to a tidy blue house in a peaceful suburb. Toys littered the lawn. Wind chimes on the porch sang a tune Mom used to hum at bedtime. I sat in my rental car for 20 minutes, summoning the courage to knock. Through the window, I saw her, older, hair shorter, with faint lines around her eyes. She was helping a young boy with schoolwork at the kitchen table. It was so ordinary, so serene. Everything I'd been told was a lie. When I knocked, a tall man with gentle eyes answered, her husband from the letters. "Can I help you?" he asked. Before I could respond, her voice called from inside. "Who's at the door, love?" "I'm looking for my mother," I said, voice unsteady. His eyes widened. "Lily," she appeared behind him and time collapsed. She was my mother, just aged. Her hand covered her mouth, a choked gasp escaping. "My baby," she whispered. Tears spilled from me instantly. 15 years of sorrow, rage, and confusion flooded out in that doorway. She pulled me into a hug, and I was 8 again, safe in her arms. "I thought you hated me," she sobbed. "I thought you never wanted to see me. I thought you were dead," I cried. Her husband, Daniel, guided us inside. The boy at the table was my half-brother, Noah, 7 years old, the spitting image of me at that age. "You're my sister?" he asked, bewildered by the moment's weight. Mom held my hand tightly as she explained. After discovering Dad's affair, she demanded a divorce and full custody. That's when Dad and grandmother plotted against her. They hired an investigator to exploit her brief struggle with painkillers after a surgery when I was 6. "It was 3 months," she said. "I went to rehab, got clean, never relapsed. But they used it to label me unfit." The court battle was brutal. Dad's wealth and connections overwhelmed her public defender. Grandmother testified Mom was dangerous. Witnesses lied about her drinking, drug-seeking, even abandoning me overnight. All fabricated, Mom said, her voice steady, but it stuck. She showed me court documents, pages of lies designed to ruin her credibility. They threatened foster care for you, she said. They said if I fought, they'd drag it out, traumatize you, and win anyway. I had to choose. So you gave up your rights? They said it was temporary, that we'd revisit it later. Another lie. Then she revealed a restraining order Dad filed claiming she was a threat to our family. I tried to see you at school once, she said. The principal called the police. Your father told them I was dangerous. She'd spent years trying to reach me through attorneys, only to be told I wanted no contact. When she called, Dad said I was too upset. When she appeared at school, grandmother convinced her I feared her. They staged a fake funeral to seal the lie. Your father showed me photos of you weeping at my grave, she said. He said you needed closure, that I had to let you heal. But you kept writing. I couldn't give up hope. Every birthday, every holiday, I sent letters to grandmother begging for news. She sent them all back. Mom had fled to Oregon to escape Dad's family's influence, which blocked her from jobs, housing, even basic services in our home state. Your Uncle Paul called every employer I approached, she said. Told them I was an addict who abandoned her child. Uncle Paul, Dad's brother, who'd taught me to ride a bike, who'd never missed my birthday, who'd mourned with me at Mom's funeral. He knew. They all did. Aunt Sarah, my cousins, even my grandparents before they died. It was a family-wide conspiracy. Her room was a shrine to me, photos from my childhood to college, somehow obtained. School awards, art projects teachers had shared, newspaper clippings of my achievements. She'd tracked my life from afar. Report cards from my second-grade teacher, Mrs. Carter, who doubted the story. Programs from school plays she couldn't attend. A napkin from my Sweet 16 snuck to her by a classmate's mother. How did you get all this? I asked. Mrs. Carter, she said. She never believed I was unfit. She sent me updates, photos from class events. She told me you were studying art in college. Mrs. Carter, who'd always asked about Mom, who'd seemed sad when I said she was gone. She knew something was wrong. Other teachers helped too. My high school art teacher, Miss Lopez, sent photos of my paintings. The school nurse shared health updates. Even the janitor noted when I seemed down. There were so many people who cared, Mom said. They just didn't know how to help. Daniel, her husband, had urged her to hire an investigator to find me, but she feared rejection. I told her she had to try, he said. We talked until sunrise. Mom had become a social worker in Oregon, helping foster kids, driven by her own loss. She'd reunited 18 families, each case a proxy for us. Noah was Daniel's son from his first marriage. Mom had raised him since he was 3. I told him about his big sister who lived far away, she said. You talked about me? Every day. Daniel smiled sadly. She never stopped. Noah showed me a drawing, a stick-figure family with him, Mom, Daniel, and a taller girl labeled Lily. I drew you bigger because Mom said you're grown up, he explained. I realized what we'd lost, not just 15 years, but Noah's childhood with me, shared milestones, even grieving my grandfather's death together last year. Grandfather's funeral, I said suddenly. You didn't know? Mom's face fell. He died last December, cancer, it was fast. She wept for the father she'd lost twice, once when forced to leave, again without a goodbye. That afternoon, she showed me places from my early childhood, the park where she taught me to swing, the ice cream shop we'd visit, the library where she read to me. I come here sometimes, she admitted outside our old apartment, to remember us together. The building manager, Mrs. Lee, recognized her. Is this little Lily? She beamed. Your mother showed me your pictures every year on your birthday. Another person who'd known but couldn't help. That night, I called Dad, putting him on speaker. I'm in Oregon, I said. With Mom. Silence. I found the letters. More silence. You don't know the full story. Then explain. He offered excuses. The custody battle was costly. I needed stability. Mom was unstable. You let me mourn a living person for 15 years. We thought it was best. You thought it was easier. Mom squeezed my hand as he fumbled for justifications. The affair was a mistake, he said. I was young. You destroyed our family, I replied. You were the one cheating. I couldn't lose you, so you made sure she lost me. He wanted me to come home. I am home, I said, hanging up. Mom showed me legal documents. The restraining order, past drug tests the court ignored. A psychological evaluation by Dad's friend labeling her unstable. Her own statement, ignored by the judge, detailed Dad's affair and lies. Judge Harrison, I read. He and Dad Dad were golf buddies. That's when I knew I'd lost, Mom said. The case was sealed after she signed away her rights, meant to stay buried. I called Mrs. Carter, now retired. I found my mom, I said. Oh, honey, she whispered. I tried to help. You did. She'd noticed my change after Mom's death, from vibrant to withdrawn. She'd alerted the counselor, but grandmother claimed I was in therapy. There was no therapist. I thought your father had her killed, she admitted. The accident story seemed too convenient. She'd found the real crash victim, Margaret Hayes, married, no kids, not Mom. Mom showed me the fake grave, an empty plot with a real headstone. The newspaper clipping, a real accident, wrong woman, she said. Standing by her false grave, I thought of all the times I'd wept there. I'm so angry, I said. Good, she replied. You should be. I stayed in Oregon 2 weeks, meeting Mom's friends who'd heard about me forever. Her friend Maria hugged me like family. Your mom showed us your baby photos, she said. We feel like we know you. I bonded with Noah, who loved dinosaurs like I had. Daniel cooked my favorite meals, somehow knowing preferences I'd shared as a child. She never stopped being your mother, he said. The night before my flight, I decided to stay. I want to know you, I told Mom. And Noah, I want to be family, she cried, holding me tightly. I quit my job, found a Portland sublet, and started at an art gallery. But staying meant facing my family. Dad called, pleading for me to return. Grandmother begged me to visit. I ignored them. Uncle Paul called. You're making a mistake. You knew she was alive, I said. Silence. You all lied. It was complicated. It was wrong. Aunt Sarah and my cousins tried next, defending the lie, minimizing Mom's pain. My cousin Emma, once close, said, she abandoned you emotionally. A real mother would have fought harder. She fought. You destroyed the evidence. You had a good childhood, she insisted. Built on lies, I said. Dad showed up in Oregon, standing on Mom's porch. She stiffened. You don't have to see him, she said. I do. He looked worn. You look good, he told Mom. What do you want, she asked. To talk to my daughter. We sat in the living room, surrounded by photos of me. I never meant it to go this far, he said. How far did you mean it to go? I asked. He had no answer. I was young, stupid. You ruined our family to hide your affair. Mom stayed silent, letting me speak. She was going to take you, he said. Because you betrayed her. He sobbed, real tears this time. I regret it every day. Your stepmother showed me what I took from you both. Then why didn't you fix it? I asked. He tried to find Mom when I turned 18, but she'd changed her name. I thought she was gone, he said. She was here writing letters. He looked at Mom with regret. I never saw them. Mom handled that. Don't blame grandmother, I said. You could have told me at 18 at graduation when I was engaged. Engaged? Mom asked. It fell apart, I said. Trust issues. I was afraid you'd hate me, Dad said. I do, I replied. But less if you'd been honest. He asked if I'd come home. I am home, I said. He left, hugging me like it was final. Mom and I planned my future. I enrolled in Portland State's social work program, wanting to help kids like me. Noah calls me his real sister. Daniel treats me like family, but blending into their life wasn't easy. I felt like an outsider at times, missing their shared history. It'll take time, Mom said. We're learning to be a family. I struggled with nightmares, fearing Mom would vanish again. Therapy with Dr. Ellis, a family reunification specialist, helped. Your grief was real, she said. You lost your mother even if she wasn't dead. Dad sends money for school, his attempt at amends. His wife, Laura, apologized, saying she'd learned the truth years ago and urged Dad to come clean. She asked me to stay in touch with my half-brothers, Ethan and Liam, who didn't understand but missed me. Grandmother died last month. She asked to see me in her final days. I thought I was protecting you, she whispered. You protected yourself? I said. She died clutching our last photo together from my 8th birthday. At her funeral, I stood between Mom and Dad's family. The pastor praised grandmother's love, but I knew it was selective. Aunt Sarah and Uncle Paul approached Mom awkwardly. I hope you can forgive us, Paul said. I hope you can live with yourselves, Mom replied. 3 months later, grandmother's lawyer called. She'd left me an envelope to be given only after I'd learned the truth. Inside was her letter. Lily, if you're reading this, you know our sin. Your father wasn't just unfaithful. He stole $200,000 from his company to fund it. Your mother threatened to report him. We couldn't let him go to jail. You needed a parent. So we told her if she left quietly, we wouldn't press charges for her drug history. She agreed to protect you. But his company investigated anyway. Rather than admit we'd broken your family for nothing, we lied. We said she was dead. Each year made the lie harder to undo. I know you hate me. You should. The money I'm leaving is what your mother deserved in the divorce. Use it to build the life you should have had with her. I'm sorry. Bank statements and Dad's unsent confession confirmed it. The inheritance covered my education and a bigger house for Mom, Daniel, Noah, and me. The letter gave closure. Mom had sacrificed herself to shield me. I called Dad. I know about the embezzlement. Silence. You let Mom take the blame. She could have turned me in, he said. She could have kept me, I replied. She gave up up everything to protect me. Why didn't you fix it? I was a coward. I hung up, done with him. I work in child services now. My first case was a girl whose father claimed her mother was dead. I uncovered the truth. She was in a coma, not gone. Reuniting them, the girl said, I knew you weren't gone. I felt you. Some lies can't stay buried. The truth finds its way. Mom and I will visit her parents' graves soon to tell them we're reunited. Noah wants to take our last name to be really family. It took 23 years, but I have my mother back. And she has her daughter.